Well, welcome to another Test Miles review. You are probably very aware of the Nissan Titan XD, which is the large truck. But today we are driving the brand new Nissan regular size trucks.
The half-ton Titan.
The half-ton. And my co-host today for this ride and drive with Nissan is my good friend and confidant, Aaron Gold. Aaron, tell people a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am Nick's confidant, and let me tell you, his relationship with his mother, very unhealthy. I'm a freelance automotive journalist. I'm on the North American Car of the Year jury, and I will basically do anything for anybody writing about cars because I'm a big whore.
Alright, so if you need an article about cars, Aaron's your man. How can we contact you, Aaron, if we want to make comments about how horrible this video is?
If you want to trash the video, then by all means, please send all comments to me at Twitter at TheAutoNerd, and I will be sure to forward them to Nick post haste with a few words of my own.
Exactly. Right, let's get into our review of the truck. Alright, Aaron, so we are in the new Nissan Titan. There are so many kinds of Titan now, I can't remember how many there are.
There's a Titan half-ton,
Yes.
there's a Titan XD gas, there's a Titan XD diesel.
Yes.
It's really a half-ton and an XD.
And an XD is kind of like a Magnum condom.
No, it's the size below, because the Dodge 2500 is the Magnum condom. The Titan half-ton is the regular size condom, and I guess the XD is the slightly more impressive but not really going to hurt anybody condom.
All right. Well, now we completely understand. Completely understand.
I actually really like the idea of what they're doing with the XD, because the big problem with heavy-duty trucks is they're a pain in the butt. They ride terrible. They're difficult to park. So they've given us a truck that has more capacity than a regular half-ton, but isn't ridiculously large.
So here's the deal. Let's just talk about Nissan and their truck, their whole truck thing. One thing Americans do better than anybody else is make trucks.
Yes.
And guess what? Nissan have said, bring it on. we're gonna make trucks better than you are.
But they're building it in America.
Right.
Technically, Americans are making this truck.
Right. They're designing it for the American market because nobody else in the world really buys trucks. So they also explained to us in the presentation today what makes a truck successful. And in your eyes, what makes a truck successful?
I honestly disagree with what they said, because they talked about quality as being a number one factor, and they would know. But really, there's just people who will only buy one brand of truck.
Right.
Truck buyers are so brand loyal, and that's why it's an uphill brand for Nissan. But their current market share is so small that it's just about imaginary.
Right.
So they only have upwards to go, and they really are throwing the kitchen sink at these trucks.
Right. So they're saying their number one thing is styling. They think a truck has to look like a truck.
Yes.
And so,
which this does look like a truck.
Right. I mean,
a Ford truck.
Yes, it looks like a Ford truck. This could have been made. If you put a Ford badge on the front of this, nobody would complain. Let's really be honest. The second thing is, Honda went completely differently with styling. They said, we're going to make an aerodynamic small truck that isn't really a truck. It just has a bed in the back. So they're obviously thinking opposite from styling. They want it to look beautiful and doesn't have to have truck styling, right?
Well, they're thinking of... I've always thought of the Ridgeline as kind of the thinking person's truck. For somebody who is looking at...
Which says that most of Americans who don't own a truck don't think.
That came out wrong. Men tend to buy trucks based on what they want, their anticipated needs.
Right.
And Honda is building a truck for the person who says, well, I'm really only going to tow this, I'm only going to haul this, this will be fine.
Right.
But, the majority of the truck market is looking for the numbers. They want bragging rights.
Right.
So you got to build a big, tough truck. So they've come out with highest in class towing capacity.
Right.
They're saying, I think they said highest base level towing capacity, because that's the tricky thing, Nick. See, you'll see an ad for brand X pickup truck which will say tows 14,000 pounds with an asterisk, and then you see up to 14,000 pounds with proper equipment, and then what you find out is that same truck in a different configuration might only be able to tow 5,000 pounds.
Right.
And people don't realize that there's a lot to towing configuration, and it's dangerous to overload your vehicle. So for Nissan to come out with a really high low end, a high tow rating at at the low end of the truck scale is a big deal.
Massive, yeah. So and the standard features and every truck being able to tow a minimum of this is great too. They're saying quality is number 2.
Yes, and that's what Nissan. Oh, well, yeah, that's what Nissan does best. You know, I mean, they build cars that are just indestructible, don't they?
And of course, they supported that now with the 5-year
100,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranty.
Right.
Which is nuts.
Infringing on the Koreans.
Well, no, they're not, because the Koreans will go 560. They'll go 100,000 on the powertrain.
Right.
But they'll only go 560 on the whole car.
Right.
Nissan's doing 5,100 on the entire vehicle.
So that's
a really big deal.
That's basically best in world.
Yeah.
So does anyone do it better?
That's a commercial grade warranty.
A commercial grade warranty.
I cannot think, I could be wrong, but I cannot think of another vehicle that has a bumper-to-bumper warranty longer than 5 years or 60,000 miles.
Right.
And some might say, well, you know, at the average of 12,000 miles a year, you know, most drivers don't do 20,000 miles a year.
Right.
But somebody who buys a truck for commercial purposes, that's a really big deal.
Right.
You know, to be able to put 20,000 miles a year and have anything broken, that's very, very, very impressive.
Now,
and I think anybody who's owned a Nissan has no doubt that they can do that. They're remarkably trouble-free vehicles.
So the last 2 things are durability and performance. And I think durability, but performance is, you know, a lot of these guys, does that mean 0 to 60 times, or does it mean how much it can haul?
Well, 390 horsepower, I'm thinking they're talking street performance.
Right.
Because that's one of the advantages. I mean, you know, the Nissan Titan XD is the same width as the truck we're driving, the half-ton.
Right.
The differences are in length and in height, so really it's not a harder truck to handle, but the difference is supposed to be in ride comfort, because
Right.
you know, with a heavy-duty chassis comes a heavy-duty ride. So I think the performance, this is the vehicle you use as a car. I don't know, 390 horsepower. Get your foot to the floor, Nick, and let's see what happens. It's interesting because this is a modestly sized V8, 5.6 liters. It's essentially a small block.
Right.
V8. I mean, the famous Chevy 350, which we have in our old pickup truck, is a 5.7.
Right. I have that in my 1999 Suburban.
Yeah, you gotta love a 350.
Yeah.
But the numbers are nowhere. 390 horsepower.
Yeah.
And 394 pound-feet of torque, because you can just put a really high red line on the thing, and on regular gas.
And the best thing I like about it is that partly because of the new transmission they have, the new 7-speed, they've managed to get the fuel economy up to 21 miles a gallon. The final thing I have to say is that the guy, when he was showing us in the back how the rear seats lift up and you have all these sort of cool places to put stuff, he says, and this is where your long guns go. And that to me just shows how much Nissan have embraced America.
America! Yep.
They designed a truck which has a space for your firearms.
Yeah.
Yes. Welcome to America, Nissan.
I was waiting for him to say, these are where you hang your truck nuts, and this is where you paste the little decal of Toyota with Calvin taking a leak on it.
Right. This is hilarious. All right, if you want to see more reviews, of course, go to Test Miles, our website. You'll be able to see everything that we test drive there. We give you as much information as the car companies give us, but they are the first drives. Our first impression, nicely put together, nice truck, and of course, you can find out more at testmiles.com. Aaron Gold can be found at
The Auto Nerd on Twitter, facebook.com/AutoNerd, or Aaron the Auto Nerd on Instagram, 2 A's.
See, does anyone ever have Aaron with 1 A?
No, I've never seen it. Elvis Presley's grave.
Aaron the half
And
an
that's
A?
it.
There's a Monty Python sketch there somewhere.
La la, hey, 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 Aaron the half an A.
Until next time.